What's up, chat? Welcome to day 200. What's the tally? 208 days, 208 day in a row of our 1 year Bible read chat. Today we're going to be reading from 726 2025. Why? Because we're 2 days early in our read. So, of course, we're reading from the 26th instead of the 24th, and if you want to know what we're reading today, if you didn't hear what I said, this is what we're reading today. The 1 year Bible. And today's read is coming from 2 Chronicles 17, 1 through 18. Then followed up with Romans 9, 25 through 10. Then Psalms 21 through 9, and then Proverbs 22 through 3. Here's a text box on my face. There we go. Welcome to another daily 1 year Bible read. We're doing this for 365 days, and we're day 208 in a row. I hope you guys are ready for a great read today. To wrap up the day, my day's not over yet, but we're wrapping the day together, right? And now, without further ado, let's get started with 2 Chronicles 17, 1 through 18, going through verse 34. Then Jehoshaphat, Asa's son, became the next king. He strengthened Judah to stand against any attack from Israel. He stationed troops in all the fortified towns of Judah, and he assigned additional garrisons to the land of Judah and to the towns of Ephraim that his father, Asa, had captured. The Lord was with Jehoshaphat because he followed the example of his father's early years, and did not worship the images of Baal. He sought his father's God and obeyed his commands instead of following the evil practices of the kingdom of Israel. So the Lord established Jehoshaphat's control over the kingdom of Judah. All the people of Judah brought gifts to Jehoshaphat, so he became very wealthy and highly esteemed. He was deeply committed to the ways of the Lord. He removed the pagan shrines and the Asherah poles from Judah. In the third year of his reign, Jehoshaphat sent officials to teach in all the towns of Judah. These officials included Ben-Hal, Obadiah, Zechariah, Nathanael, and Micaiah. He sent Levites along with them, including Shemaiah, Nethaniah, Zebediah, Ashahel, Shemaroth, Jehonathan, Adonijah, Tobijah, and Adonijah. He also sent out the priests Elishama and Jehoram. They took copies of the book of the law of the Lord and traveled around all the towns of Judah, teaching the people. Then the fear of the Lord fell over all the surrounding kingdoms, so that none of them wanted to declare war on Jehoshaphat. Some of the Philistines brought him gifts and silver as tribute, and the Arabs brought 7,700 rams and 7,700 male goats. So Jehoshaphat became more and more powerful and built fortresses and stored cities throughout Judah. He stored numerous supplies in Judah's town and stationed an army of seasoned troops at Jerusalem. His army was enrolled according to ancestral clans. From Judah there were 300,000 troops, organized in units of 1,000 under the command of Adnah. Next in command was Jehonadab, who commanded 280,000 troops. Next was Amasiah, son of Zichri, who volunteered for the Lord's service, with 200,000 troops under his command. From Benjamin, there were 200,000 troops equipped with bows and shields. They were under the command of Eliada, a veteran soldier. Next in command was Jehozabad, who commanded 180,000 armed men. There were the troops stationed in Jerusalem to serve the king, besides those Jehoshaphat stationed in the fortified towns throughout Judah. Jehoshaphat enjoyed great riches and high esteem, and he made an alliance with Ahab of Israel by having his son marry Ahab's daughter. A few years later, he went to Samaria to visit Ahab, who prepared a great banquet for him and his officials. They butchered great numbers of sheep, goats, and cattle for the feast. Then Ahab enticed Jehoshaphat to join forces with him to recover Ramoth Gilead. "Will you go with me to Ramoth Gilead?" King Ahab of Israel asked King Jehoshaphat of Judah. Jehoshaphat replied, "Why, of course, you and I are as one, and my troops are your troops. We will certainly join you in battle." And then Jehoshaphat added, "But first, let's find out what the Lord says." So the king of Israel summoned the prophets, 400 of them, and asked them, "Should we go to war against Ramoth Gilead, or should I hold back?" They all replied, "Yes, go right ahead. God will give the king victory. But Jehoshaphat asked, is there not also a prophet of the Lord here? We should ask him the same question. The king of Israel replied to Jehoshaphat, there is one more man who could consult the Lord for us, but I hate him. He never prophesies anything but trouble for me. His name is Micaiah, son of Imlah. Jehoshaphat replied, that's not the way a king should talk. Let's hear what he has to say. So the king of Israel called one of his officials and said, quick, bring Micaiah, son of Imlah. King Ahab of Israel and King Jehoshaphat of Judah, dressed in their royal robes, were sitting on thrones at the threshing floor near the gate of Samaria. All of Ahab's prophets were prophesying there in front of them. One of them, Zedekiah, son of Kenaniah, made some iron horns and proclaimed, this is what the Lord says. With these horns you will gore the Arameans to death. All the other prophets agreed. Yes, they said, go up to Ramoth Gilead and be victorious, for the Lord will give the victory to the king. Meanwhile, the messenger who went to get Micaiah said to him, look, all the prophets are promising victory for the king. Be sure that you agree with them and promise success. But Micaiah replied, as surely as the Lord lives, I will say only what my God says. When Micaiah arrived before the king, Ahab asked him, Micaiah, should we go to war against Ramoth Gilead, or should I go back? Micaiah replied sarcastically, yes, go up and be victorious, for you will have victory over them. But the king replied sharply, how many times must I demand that you speak only the truth to me when you speak for the Lord? Then Micaiah told him, in a vision, I saw all of Israel scattered on the mountains, like sheep without a shepherd. And the Lord said, their master has been killed. Send them home in peace. Didn't I tell you the king of Israel exclaimed to Jehoshaphat, he never prophesies anything but trouble for me. Then Micaiah continued, listen to what the Lord says. I saw the Lord sitting on his throne with all the armies of heaven around him, on his right and on his left. And the Lord said, who can entice King Ahab of Israel to go into battle against Ramoth Gilead so he can be killed? There were many suggestions, and finally a spirit approached the Lord and said, I can do it. How will you do this, Lord asked, and the spirit replied, I will go out and inspire all of Ahab's prophets to speak lies. You will succeed, said the Lord. Go ahead and do it. So you see, the Lord has put a lying spirit in the mouths of your prophets, for the Lord has pronounced your doom. Then Zedekiah, son of Kenaniah, walked up to Micah and slapped him across the face. Since when did the Spirit of the Lord leave me to speak to you, he demanded. And Micaiah replied, you will find out soon enough when you are trying to hide in some secret room. Arrest him, the king of Israel ordered. Take him back to Amun, the governor of the city, and to my son, Joash. Give them this order from the king. Put this man in prison and feed him nothing but bread and water until I return safely from the battle. But Micaiah replied, if you return safely, it will mean that the Lord has not spoken through me. Then he added to those standing around, everyone mark my words. So King Ahab of Israel and King Jehoshaphat of Judah led their armies against Ramoth Gilead. The king of Israel said to Jehoshaphat, as we go into battle, I will disguise myself so no one will recognize me, but you will wear your royal robes. So the king of Israel disguised himself, and they went into battle. Meanwhile, the king of Aram had issued these orders to his chariot commanders, attack only the king of Israel. Don't bother with anyone else. So when the Aramean chariot commanders saw Jehoshaphat in his royal robes, they went after him. There is the king of Israel, they shouted. But Jehoshaphat called out, and the Lord saved him. God helped him by turning the attackers away from him. As soon as the chariot commanders realized he was not the king of Israel, they stopped chasing him. An Aramean soldier, however, randomly shot an arrow at the Israelite troops and hit the king of Israel between the joints of his armor. Turn the horses and get me out of here, Ahab groaned to the driver of the chariot. I'm badly wounded. The battle raged all that day, and the king of Israel propped himself up in his chariot, facing the Arameans. In the evening, just as the sun was setting, he died. What's up, Wilmer? Welcome to the chat, bro. Good to see you. Nice to meet you. And now Romans 9:25 through 10. Concerning the Gentiles, God says in the prophecy of Hosea, those who are not my people, I will now call my people, and I will love those whom I did not love before. And then, at the place where they were told, you are not my people, there they will be called children of the living God. Concerning Israel, Isaiah the prophet cried out, though the people of Israel are as numerous as the sand of the seashore, only a remnant will be saved. For the Lord will carry out his sentence upon the earth, quickly and with finality. And Isaiah said the same thing in another place. The Lord of heaven's armies had not spared a few of our children who have been wiped out like Sodom, destroyed like Gomorrah. What does all this mean? Even though the Gentiles are not trying to follow God's standards, they are made right with God. It was by faith that this took place. But the people of Israel who tried so hard to get right with God by keeping the law never succeeded. Why not? Because they were trying to get right with God by keeping the law, instead of by trusting in him. They stumbled over the great rock in their path. God warned them of this in the scriptures when he said, I am placing a stone in Jerusalem that makes people stumble, a rock that makes them fall. But anyone who trusts in him will never be disgraced. Dear brothers and sisters, the longing of my heart and our prayer to God is for the people of Israel to be saved. I know what enthusiasm they have for God, but it is misdirected zeal. For they don't understand God's way of making people right with him. Refusing to accept God's way, they cling to their own way of getting right with God by trying to keep the law. For Christ has already accomplished the purpose for which the law was given. As a result, all who believe in him are made right with God. For Moses writes that the law's way of making a person right with God requires obedience to all his commands. But faith's way of getting right with God says, don't say in your heart who will go up to heaven to bring Christ down to earth, and don't say who will go down to the place of the dead. In fact, it says, the message is very close at hand. It is on your lips and in your heart. And that message is the very message about faith that we preach. If you only openly declare that Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. For it is by believing in your heart that you are made right with God, and it is by openly declaring your faith that you are saved. As the scriptures tell us, anyone who trusts in him will never be disgraced. Jew and Gentile are the same in this respect. They have the same Lord, for everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. And now, Psalms 21 through 9. In times of trouble, may the Lord answer your cry. May the name of God of Jacob keep you safe from all harm. May he send you help from his sanctuary and strengthen you from Jerusalem. May he remember all your gifts and look favorably on your burnt offerings. May he grant your heart's desires and make all your plans succeed. May we shout for joy when we hear of your victory and raise a victory banner in the name of our God. May the Lord answer all your prayers. Now I know that the Lord rescues his anointed king. He will answer him from his holy heaven and rescue him by his great power. Some nations boast of their chariots and horses, but we boast in the name of the Lord, our God. Those nations will fall down and collapse, but we will rise up and stand firm. Give victory to our King, O Lord. Answer our cry for help. And now Proverbs 22-3. The king's fear is like a lion's roar. To rouse his anger is to risk your life. Avoiding the fight is a mark of honor. Only fools insist on quarreling. And now the mouth matters. The mouth matters. The mouth matters. Speaking the truth when everyone else is speaking comforting lies is never easy. To stand up for what is right when everyone else is stating what is wrong but popular is a courageous act. It matters. There is one truth that matters even more. If you believe that God raised Jesus from the dead, you will be saved. And it is the only way to be saved. This truth should be declared out loud to others. It may not be popular. It may not sound inclusive, but anyone can believe and proclaim the truth. And now, Chad, we're going to turn off the camera, turn off the mic, ask for clarity, wisdom, and discernment on today's word, and I'll be right back. What's up, chat? Welcome back. Okay, so today, if you weren't here for the beginning, this is day 208 in a row of our 1 year Bible read. We're doing this for 365 days in a row. We're doing this for 365 days in a row. So we got a ways to go, but we still making our way, right? So today we read from 2 Chronicles 17, 1 through 18, going through verse 34. We followed it up with Romans 9:25 through 10, going through verse 13, and then Psalms 21 through 9, and then Proverbs 22 through 3 to wrap up the night's read. As I was reading, there was something that stood out tremendously as I read, and I wanted to grab my pencil. Actually, here it goes, right here, and I wanted to underline this. It's what made Jehoshaphat as prosperous as he came to be. It's what protected Jehoshaphat, even though he had neighbors who previously would have tried to take Judah away, or try to remove him as king, or try to take over. It was this statement right here that he said to King Ahab of Israel. He said before he left and before he made a decision to go with King Ahab, he said, but first, let's find out what the Lord says. And it's just a gentle reminder, right? Before any big decision, even small decisions, let's seek counsel with God first before we walk through that door. Because what if God is protecting you from something? What if that door is closed for a reason, right? So before we walk into any of these doors, let's seek counsel first. Let's talk to God first, right? And that's a gentle reminder from 2 Chronicles 17, 1 through 8. King Jehoshaphat, before he even dared to go to battle, he said, but first, let's find out what the Lord says. And that's going to be our message today from 2 Chronicles. Let's hop into Romans 9:25 through 10. And this is for those who believe that God doesn't love you because he loves somebody else more than you. I will now call my people. Those who are not my people, I will now call my people, and I will love those whom I did not love before. We'll just take this as it is, right? This is a proclamation from God to let everyone know that you all are my people. Everybody's my people. And I plan to do right by all of you. All you gotta do is have faith in me. I will do right by you. Have faith in me and I'll do right by you. Wouldn't you want somebody to have faith in you? Wouldn't that make you want to do right by them? Right? And all God said was, have faith in me and I'll do right by you. And now let's hop into Proverbs 22 through 3. The king's fear is like a lion's roar. To rouse his anger is to risk your life. Avoiding a fight is a mark of honor, and only fools insist on quarreling. Avoiding a fight is a mark of honor. This is a little sound bite, and I'm gonna underline this for future me. When future me comes in here seeking guidance. Avoiding a fight is like a mark of honor. Not all battles are meant to be fought. If King Ahab knew that all battles are not meant to be fought, maybe he wouldn't have been taken away, right? And his story was a reminder: not every battle that you believe you need to go fight. Not every time you feel like you got to go, defend your honor, or fight fight for your pride or whatever it is that you're fighting for. Every time is it necessary for you to decide to fight. Like if a great example is if you're having an argument with somebody you care about. One second, baby. If you're having an argument with somebody you care about, not continuing that fight, right? Don't start saying words that you may regret in the future, because you can't take that back. You can say I'm sorry all you want to, but you really can't take that back. So, every battle is not worth being fought. Every victory that you may feel like you get may not really feel like a victory if it was a battle you should have never fought. So only fools insist on quarreling, and the mouth matters. Speaking the truth when everyone else is speaking comforting lies is never easy. To stand up for what is right when everyone else is stating what is wrong but popular is a courageous act. It matters. There is one truth that matters even more. If you believe that God raised Jesus from the dead, you will be saved. And it is the only way you would be saved. This truth should be declared out loud to others. It may not be popular, it may not sound inclusive, but anyone can believe and proclaim the truth. And chat, that is going to be the end of today's Want to Hear Baba Read. This has been day 208 in a row. Thank you for joining me, anybody who joined me. And if you've never seen this outro before, let's do it together. I mean, whatever. We all got that limitless core, baby. I appreciate you. I might even love you, but I'm for sure glad you woke up today. You woke up today. I appreciate your presence as always. I say this every time, but I always do. Whether it's for a second, a millisecond, a minute, or if you've been on this journey with me for a while now, I appreciate you. And I appreciate your presence. It's the most valuable thing you can give me, and I do appreciate that. And on that note, peace. Have a great night, because I'm going to have a great rest of mine. I'm going to make another one of these that says good night.